All right, man. Well, we're finally gonna do this.
That what you drinking on, man?
It's that wine that I told you about that my neighbors. They
Oh yeah.
so it's funny because we were having a conversation up there with them that they had to put a couple of their wines on like 50% off
Jesus.
because
It's not selling.
it's not that it wasn't selling. Obviously, so they make money obviously on wine sales, but majority of their income actually comes from weddings. So
Oh,
they
okay.
have a beautiful property up there. It's probably one of my
Right,
favorite
right.
vineyards I've ever been to. There's a lot of cool ones up here in Napa,
Uh-huh.
but something about there is just on a whole nother world. It's
It's in San Francisco.
no. It's technically in El Dorado County,
Okay.
so it's up there, and their property is just amazing. And most of it has been like hand done. They did it themselves.
Okay.
I think it's 250 acres. It's just an incredible piece of land that they have. They have their own pond where they have self-sustaining fish. You know, they grow their own food. They do
Oh
a lot
wow.
of things. Yeah, they do a lot of stuff. They have 3 bed and breakfasts. So a lot of their revenue was coming from that. So they lost that. But as soon as they decided to do that promotion of 50% off, they sold 80 cases in one day, which to them
Jesus
is a
Christ.
lot. Yeah. So that's a lot of wine. So it's been going good for them in that case. And we had that concept of it's like if you don't adapt, you're gonna get left behind in this.
Definitely. Definitely. You can either, sit around, complain about how things quote unquote suck, or you just figure it out.
Exactly. And it was weird because I was happy for them. And we know a lot of people are going to suffer and a lot of people are going to get left behind. They found a way to adapt and to move on. And I'm wondering if this is what this virus is going to do. It's going to show a lot, like, the resilient people. If you're resilient, if you're able to again adapt, change to what the needs are, then you'll make it. And if
Mhm.
not, then you get left behind. And
You'll be left behind and being playing catch up for like the next 2 or 3 years.
hmm
Because thankfully, we live in a world where like things happen really fast,
yeah,
and with technology, it's not gonna be like the Great Depression. You know what I'm saying? Like
you
people can
don't
figure.
you don't know that
I doubt it. I think we've come too far as a society to go back
to go
that.
back that bad.
There's much more ways to be self sufficient and make income in 2020 than it was in 1920.
That's a good point.
Like you can literally start a podcast and generate revenue. You can become like a mobile chef and generate revenue. Like there's ways. That's crazy. The Great Depression was in 1920. That's crazy to think about it that way.
Well, it was in
But
the
I
1930s, right?
think it was the 20s, if I'm not mistaken. It
No.
was the 30s.
So it was the Roaring Twenties, which is during the
Was
great.
it? Was it like the late? I think it started like in the late 20s and it spilled
So
into the 30s.
the crash happened in 29, I believe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah,
So yeah, the thick of it was the 30s.
yes,
But needless to say, I don't think people are like we've come too far in society and become way too advanced where like millions of hundreds of thousands of people are really gonna suffer. There's gonna be some where it's just like, damn, like tough break. But there's so many ways to be self-sufficient like that. If you want to go get it, you can go get it.
that's a good point. And I think that's where I think a lot of people get upset at our generation, particularly that we always complain that there's nothing to do, there's no jobs, and there's so much more different ways, especially like, in the music industry. We hear it all the time. I need to be signed to a label. I need to do this, or I need that. And the more you think about it, it's that they don't need any of that.
Not at all. Not at all. I think that goes more so of I feel like I've maximized I feel like once people feel like they need a label, it's one or two. Well, three things I feel like. One, they just want a quick check.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they really don't want to do what it takes to put the groundwork in to be able to negotiate their own terms and deal when that time comes. And three, it's just like, all right, I've maximized what I can do independently. Now let me take this to a major label situation. But I think out of those three options, the person that goes into the situation with number three on their side, they're winning for sure. because of the simple fact that with 1 and 2, it's kind of like you need them versus them needing you.
Mm-hmm.
And with number 3, it's more so of, okay, this is what I've done. This is what I bring to the table. We're pretty much negotiating at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't think labels are bad. I think they've got a bad rap over the years due to the I guess the lack of people being business savvy. But I feel like if you know the business, a label can work really well. Like, let's take Wiz Khalifa for example. He's been dealing with Atlantic for years, and I've never once heard Wiz complain ever. Now, granted, that's not his personality, so I'm pretty sure there has been times of frustration with the music business. But Atlantic seems to be treating Wiz pretty well.
I think there are some good labels out there.
Yeah, and I think there's good labels, and those good labels, like I said, always work when they're dealing with artists that the artists know they have leverage. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember, I think Joe Budden did the interview with Big Sean, and I think they talked about how Big Sean mentioned how when he first signed his first label, he's like, yeah, that was a slave deal. He's like, but he had nothing better to go for him at the time.
Right. You really don't have any metric,
No. He even said it himself. He wasn't worth what he can ask for now.
Yeah, well, he was one acting. No, for sure. And Nip alluded to that same point. Pretty much his first go around, just like, all right, we understand the terms and conditions of what you want to sign to, but we don't feel like you're worth that yet.
Yeah.
And then once he got to where he is now, that's when he was able to do that partnership with the Atlantic.
And I think that's the issue. A lot of these young artists like, oh, I'm fire, I'm hot. I got these really good songs. It's like, yeah, but no one's listening to them. You don't have a you don't have a following. You don't have a fan base. You don't have anything. Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to make my money back as a label, as someone who wants to invest money into you? Business. Chris said it best one time. Him and I were talking about this, and I think it was at the time when I did an interview with him a while ago, and he's like, this is the music industry. This is a music business. He's like, artists keep forgetting that you need to.
Let's not forget. They forget the business side of this,
Exactly.
And it's kind of like, but it's a catch-22. Because on one end, they're talking about a demographic of young men, predominantly African Americans, because you don't really hear. I'm into different types of music. You don't really hear, the Katy Perrys of the world or Nick Jonas's having like contract battles with their labels, and if they do, they don't necessarily like get so bad where they bleed out into the public. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't Adele have a bad deal? Was it Adele or was it like Katy Perry? One of them had a really bad deal.
I think Adele's was bad, but like her out of music bag was so well taken care of that she really didn't it wasn't like she was hurting.
Got it.
But a lot of
you do hear about them. I'll argue this. We don't.
I mean, you hear about them
because they're not that's not the music we listen to.
No, for sure. You hear about them, but the frustration never seems to be about the money or the contractual obligations.
Got it.
It always seems to be like, okay, I want to do this, and the label's not letting me do this. Okay, I might want to tour for like 2 years straight. Something that the artist really wants to do, and it's like a conflict to the label. Versus I've signed this, like, let's take YG for example. I feel like every 4 to 5 months he's complaining about his label situation.
Who's he with right now? He's with
he's been signed to Def Jam since.
I was saying he was with Def Jam, isn't he?
And he's still signed to Def Jam. I don't know what type of contract he has, but because he might be 5 albums in right now. He has My Crazy Life, Still Brazy, Stay Dangerous.
That's it. No, he dropped the one.
For real.
Yeah.
So he only has 4?
Well, he drop a mixtape around that time, or
the Red Friday, if you want to count that.
Sometimes, I mean, Tory Lanez just technically dropped his mixtape, and now he's done with his deal.
But regardless, let's get back to my initial point. So you got to think. We're talking about a demographic of young men
and women.
young men and women, from the inner city, between the ages of, I can say, like 16 to 23, when most people get quote unquote discovered. Their family background is hella screwed up, single parent home, drugs, gang violence, all that extra stuff. Mom had to work 2 or 3 jobs just to hope we can have a couple noodles on Thursday. So you go from a situation like that to, you're gaining some type of musical traffic, and all of a sudden somebody tells you, hey, we like what you're doing, here's 600,000.
Which is pretty good to a
Yeah,
lot of
which
people.
is pretty good until, you sign that paper, and it's time for you to get paid. Like, oh, well, okay, we have to pay for tour fees, merchandise, music videos, studio time, blah, 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 blah. So that 600,000 that you signed for, it wasn't for you. It was to enhance your career.
Yeah, to cover I remember, I forgot who it was. She mentioned that when she would have these business meetings with executives or with people, she had a card that they gave her. Well, that card was linked to the advance that they gave her. So every meal that she was paying for was coming out of her check.
And they don't understand.
A lot of them don't know that, though. They don't have a good lawyer, or the other one is the label will give them a lawyer, right? The label, sure. Here's a lawyer that you can use.
But guess what? The label, them lawyer fees, coming out of that advance you got. Yep. Like anything we provided you, you have to pay us back. Now, as quiet as kept, dudes like Kendrick and Drake, they don't really have the best contracts either.
I don't know what he has with TDE.
I mean, but you got to think of, okay, he signed, because I believe there's only like 4 major labels. Like there's 4.
Universal, Interscope.
And everything else is like a branch off,
Def Jam, and I think
Def Jam's under somebody. Hold on, I can actually Google this, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's 3 big houses or 4 big houses that own the rest of them, right? I know Universal's one of them.
You got, let me see. What are the 4 major
label houses?
Yeah, so you got Warner Brothers, Def Jam, Aftermath, but those are the 4 major ones,
That's it. What about Universal? I thought Universal was in one of those.
Right. So you take a situation like Kendrick Lamar, which he's doing exceptionally well, but
he's signed to Aftermath, or he's signed to Interscope, right?
All right. So
no, he's signed to Aftermath.
He signed to Aftermath.
Yeah.
Which is signed to Interscope.
Yeah.
Which is also signed, I believe it's under the umbrella of one of the major heads. But then also you got the TDE situation. Yeah. But he's generating so much revenue and he's doing exceptionally well that Kendrick has that wiggle room, Mm-hmm. Because you see most artists that signed to somebody that signed to somebody that signed to somebody else, you're getting a lot of people, taking a check out of your pot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I mean, but like I said, bro, you look at the situation where you're taking kids from the inner cities and you pretty much giving them a bunch of money. They probably don't. They think I might not ever get this opportunity again.
Exactly.
And because I might not get this opportunity again, do I pass up on this now to hope that something better comes, or continue to see my family suffer?
It's definitely a tricky situation, right? Blueface, he signed to what I know it's one of Cash Money's.
It's Cash Money West.
Yeah, Cash Money West, which I have no idea what the hell that really means.
Is Blueface and a dude from Long Beach?
Is it Whack?
No, Savvy Third.
Okay.
And so much attention. I don't even think Savvy Third is not with Cash Money West anymore because so much has been poured into Blueface that they really didn't work out.
Okay. So, in his situation, he already had a buzz
Uh-huh.
before he was signed to the label. I wonder if he could have done it himself.
For Blueface,
Yeah.
I think a kid like Blueface, his situation is unique because what a label does is it gives you that crossover. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Features he wouldn't have been able to get, festivals he wouldn't be able to headline.
I think that's a manager though. I don't know if the label pays, too much.
Yeah, he's managed and signed by the same
Got it.
situation.
Got it.
But
Okay.
with Blueface, it's all one and the same.
Because that's my thing right now. We're like, okay, let's say Kalen. Kalen's popping off pretty big. I don't think he's signed yet, is he?
Kalen?
Yeah.
That is something I will have to talk to you about off air because no, like seriously, because there's some things that it's not negative at all.
Yeah.
I don't want people hearing this thing like I was just saying bad, but I don't want to publicly say anything, and it didn't come from him directly.
It seemed like he was getting signed to YG.
No, that's not the story.
No.
Because I actually came across an article on Double XL that kind of like alluded to what I've been hearing was going on with him, but I believe he has a major push.
Yes.
From a major situation currently, and I believe he is signed or managed like first class ENT, like something like in home thing. But majorly, yeah, I can talk to you about that when we get done, bro.
True,
because if it's true, Kelly's about to take off.
I think he has opportunity to do it by himself. Mike and I were in Day in Vegas, giant festival, and he had a pretty big pull at his stage.
Really?
Yeah. Mike has video of it, I think. I think I have video of it too. It was pretty crazy. Obviously, people are there just because maybe they're watching the next person after him, but I don't recall who was after Kalen. But all I remember is that he had a pretty good amount of people vibing out to his music. And I can assume they weren't all from LA.
Right. I mean, and there's the versatility, I've always said Drake has won because he continues to make women happy. But even in that, he makes music that men can appreciate as well.
Got it.
And I think that's why Kalen has been so successful, due to the fact that
he has the R&B side to him.
Yeah, it's an R&B side, and there's also, it's not too R&B to the point where dudes can't ride out to it, because you can still party to it.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, when do you think it is time for artists that's doing success, that's doing well, but they might need that extra label push?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Sometimes they don't necessarily need a label. It could be investment money. It could be connections is what they need. You can look at Chance. You can look at Nipsey. You can look at who else did it independently, supposedly. I'm trying to think. Technically, YBN is independent. Technically,
Cordae.
Yeah, Cordae. Even though I think he has like a label backing.
Okay.
When you listen to the interviews of Chance, it seemed that his biggest issue was always just financials. Financials were the one thing, stopping people from successfully moving forward in their career.
Man, it's funny you bring up Chance, because me and plenty of other people, we don't really buy on the whole independent thing from Chance.
Yeah, it's tricky because his family's really well connected.
Very. So it's like, are you really independent, bro? Or you just worked out a great label situation where you have the most freedom out of anybody?
Logic has that, right? Logic signed with Def Jam, and he has like creative freedom. He has creative. I don't know how much masters he owns or whatever that case. Like, what does it mean to be independent? I think that's another question. Is it that you own all your masters? Is it that you?
I think being independent, you have zero backing financially from a label.
Then no one's independent, because a lot of independent people have distribution deals.
No, but what I'm saying is you can have a distribution deal,
That would
but
be backing.
right, but well, your your music contractual obligations aren't through a label.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to put out 5 albums if you sign. You don't basically your label takes care of like booking you tours and appearances. I don't think that's considered being signed. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like having an agent in a sense,
Yeah.
but I feel like an independent artist, as long as there isn't a label that basically tells you, okay, we need this amount of albums and this amount of money generated, I feel like you're fine.
That's a good point. And there's not that many people that actually have that opportunity or have done it
At
successfully.
all. And that's, I feel like, where a lot of artists,
The
they're
OGs did it. I would say
who
Too Short did it. Master P did it.
Master P's independent.
Yeah, Too Short was
Yeah.
independent for a really
No.
long time.
E40 was sick with a
E40,
record.
same thing. Let's see who else has done it really
You know,
well.
Cash Money,
Yeah,
Baby and Birdman. You know, it's like, and that's what I never really understood, Mario. It's like, especially in today's era, when I see certain artists, I don't want to continue to like name drop people in negative light, but when I never understood where it's like, okay, you see two sides of the coin, and if you really, and I think this is also another problem hip hop is having. We're having a major problem of there's not too many students of the game anymore.
Russ.
Yeah, but for every Russ, there's like 10 that don't get it.
That's true.
You know, so like we've seen labels continue to get screw over people.
Yeah.
Or we've seen, you know, when you get it out the mud, like J Prince, E40, Master P, it works. Like you don't, as long as, and even if you want to fast forward, look at Currency.
And they
If
have
I was
money.
a rapper, bro,
And they have money.
if I was a rapper, bro, and somebody basically had told me, okay, you know, here's a, like say that there was like a Build-A-Bear, you know, for a rap career. You know, there's like a Build-A-Bear for a rap career. Give me Currency.
He sells out shows still.
He sells out shows, never has lost his fan base, and he can go anywhere he want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Like he can go to Target, Starbucks, McDonald's, you know, Disneyland, whatever the case may be, and enjoy his life. But I guarantee his tour will sell out, and he's just not doing venues of 100 people.
No, yeah. He did one in San. I really regret that. It was at a time when I still worked really early mornings, so I couldn't go shoot that event. But Currency came, and I really, really wanted to go take pictures of him. But he sold out. I can probably ask how fast that tour sold out. It was really quick, or at least that specific show here in San Francisco.
It's crazy, bro. Like, and that's what I never really understood. It's just like we've seen the, I don't know, the up and ups or the downside to signing a label, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just always wonder, like, why? Like, what makes an artist feel like I can't get screwed over? That's what I don't understand.
I don't think they think
And
that way.
especially, I think so. Because, and I'm not talking about labels in general. There's no secret that there's about 3 to 4 labels that always have issues with people, or executive heads, I should say. We can all pretty much agree there's like 3 to 4 we know, like, okay, since the beginning of time, except for one artist, they screwed every artist over.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm pretty sure we probably thinking about the same 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
You know? But why do y'all still signing them? You get what I'm saying?
The money. Like you said, the situations that they're in is so much more worse than the possibility of, you know, they might have hope that they can make it out.
Right.
Because like you said, the situations that are in. I think that's what segues into, you know, what we can talk about next is if they weren't in that situation, would they sign these deals or would they have a better chance?
I think that's when you take meetings, but you gain leverage.
That's what Chance did, though.
I think that's what's important. You take all the meetings you want and see, what they feel and whatnot.
Mhm.
But continue to build your fan base, your following. So when you go back to these meetings 6 months to a year from now, it's not the same conversation. Because look, in hindsight, y'all need me more than I need you. I can do perfectly fine all by myself. I got my tour manager, I got my booking agent, I got my lawyer. I'm good. Now, you guys want to add me to your company because I can add value.
Mhm.
And if I'm going to add that value, I need to be financially compensated. And until we reach terms and conditions that all parties agree upon that are fair and flexible, we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Exactly. No, that's a good point, man. I don't know. I also believe that there's a lot of things that perhaps us who are looking from the outside might not understand exactly. Because I think there's a lot of shady things that do happen in the industry that unless you're in those meetings, unless you're in those
Right.
locations, we might not know exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm. That's fair to say.
But I wanted to touch up on, what plans you had coming up for your nonprofit, or if you had any plans coming up, and maybe we
I
can
think
talk about like a couple of things you've already done.
well, like I said, I didn't think, none of us probably thought this corona thing would be as severe as it was.
A lot of us thought I was never going to come.
Because, I wouldn't say never come, because we had Ebola, we had swine
Do
flu.
you really remember that though? I don't remember.
No, I do. You want to know why?
I remember swine flu. I remember still playing soccer tournaments.
I vividly remember swine flu because I got food poisoning when that happened.
Yeah.
And my grandmother rushed me. She had my dad rush me to the emergency because she swore I had it. Like, it's like funny looking back on it now. God rest your soul. But I vividly remember, bro. I came home from school one day and I was just like super, super, super hungry. No, it was like summertime. It's like the first week out of school. And we had El Pollo Loco for lunch. Bro, I promise you. I'll never forget this day as long as I live. Had El Pollo Loco for lunch. Tore it up. And this is when, and it was crazy for me with this whole corona, and, he was talking about other viruses we had. Those symptoms was way worse than corona symptoms, bro.
Well, see, that's the thing.
People were like vomiting a lot, bleeding out the ears. Like, it was crazy. You feel me? Like, yeah. And with this, you can literally be walking around fine like me and you are and be out of here in like 2-3 days with no symptoms. So anyway, like I said, 8, whatever, I was perfectly fine, bro. Like, the next day and a half, I was down and out, like fever, throwing up. My grandma was just like, "Oh no, you might got it." took me straight to the hospital, man. But luckily, they just told me it was food poisoning.
It's crazy.
But like I said, so when this initially first hit, Mario, to be completely honest with you, it wasn't that I didn't take it serious, but it's just like, okay, we've had plenty of viruses come from those type of markets, which me and Fumi have been talking about a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
When we can touch on that a little bit later. We've had plenty of viruses come from those same situations.
Yeah.
People eating things that aren't unsanitary, then they spread, and that's how it goes. Like, okay, here it is again. So on the radio show that I'm involved with at my university, me and my co-host talked about it, and it wasn't like we didn't take it seriously, but it's just okay, we've seen this before, we've heard it, we've seen this movie before, we heard this before. Let's just see how things play out. So that was like one Friday, then one turned into 2, and then we're talking about coronavirus for like a month straight. It's just like, okay, this might be a little bit deeper than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the doctor passed away, I was trying to put everybody on notice, like, hey, this virus might be serious. When he died a week later, it's just like, all right, something ain't right here. then you fast forward to we got the first case in Seattle, Washington. Second case in San Francisco. And it seemed like from there, things just went haywire, bro. So I've been like, to answer your question, I've pretty much been planning the next block party since December. You know, looking at, like, I've had people out here looking at venues, like FaceTiming every day, waking up early because I'm on a different time zone. So to be quite honest with you, it threw me for a loop. And I wouldn't say so much that I was in a situation where I wasn't prepared, but I don't think anybody in the general public thought we will be pretty much 2 months into us having to be quarantined. And if you're saying that, I call you a liar. Like, seriously.
There was a couple of people that said, because particularly I remember listening to this one person say that she was translating all the scripts and the audios that were coming out of China, and she was warning people that it was a lot worse than what we think it is.
Now, my question to you is, or the point I want to bring up to you,
yeah,
those people, they either get shut up or they die. Let's be honest.
She was kind of pointed out as a crazy lady to kind of
exactly like exactly, bro, crazy lady. And they did the same thing with the doctor. The one doctor, you know, when he was basically trying to put the word on it, was like, hey, you know, it's this virus out of, I always mispronounce the exact city,
Wuhan.
But when he was trying to educate people, they shut him up, and then a week later he passes away. Yeah, all right. But it's just, I don't know, bro. I've used this time to mentally reassess myself.
Yeah.
You know, I really haven't been so focused on, I guess, to answer your question, the whole nonprofit thing.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that it's just like, okay, I can plan in my sleep. You know, but there's no legit timetable for this. You know, it's not like a natural disaster. Like you can low-key kind of put a timetable recovery on a natural disaster. You know, earthquake hits, okay, you know, then we get in the rebuilding phase. No, that's it hits for like a day for a natural disaster, and then okay, we can start planning to XYZ. But with the virus that is pretty much like a walking ghost, you don't know really how to plan for it, because it went from April, like April
1st.
Yeah, it went from April 1st to April 30th, now to May 15th, to the possibility of I got to do another semester online. It's crazy, bro. But what I can say is, I've gained a new appreciation for the things that I had access to that I really didn't full-fledged take advantage of. And I think now, rather than just focus on my brand as a whole, I want to just like reassess my mind as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like doing certain things. Like I walk every day. I go running every day. You know, implementing yoga. You know, drinking tea twice a day, because it's not as bad and it's not as severe. And I don't want people like thinking I'm being extreme. But this is a great reason why people in solitary confinement go crazy.
No, I think my anxiety's been through the roof. Luckily, I think I've been going crazy.
No, you won't catch me like individuals who just don't understand the severity of the situation. So you want to have impromptu house parties. And I was at the park jogging the other day, and there was a full-fledged soccer match and a picnic going on. So like, all right, cool, I get it, whatever. You won't see me on that magnitude, but it's just not healthy for any human being to be confined in a space all day, every day, for a long period of time.
No, it's not normal. We were not meant to be doing this at all. And the issue is, I was joking around with my cousin, especially with this virus going on, is that I think people didn't pay attention in science class when they were younger. because they don't know how viruses work. They don't understand how bacteria works. They don't understand a lot of things. And what I was explaining to him, and to answer your question about H1N1 versus Ebola and then the coronavirus, ultimately the reason why the coronavirus is spreading a lot faster is because it doesn't kill people fast enough.
No, for real.
And that's why.
That was the difference between swine flu and Ebola.
Yeah, they killed.
Once you got it, you was out of here.
You were almost guaranteed dead. Versus this, it's different.
It wasn't like, it's like, okay, you're sick for like 2 or 3 weeks and then you might be able to recover.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the unfortunate part. And I think, not to get off topic, I think that's why mass media is extremely dangerous. Because, okay, there's been a reported 43,000 deaths of coronavirus. Now, that's a lot of people that died, right? Let's go rescue those people. That's a lot of deaths in, I guess you could say a 3-4 months we in now?
Probably 3 months, yeah.
Yeah, 3-month window. Like, that's pretty crazy. But you say 43,000, let's take a number, 43,000 cases. 43,000 deaths. And pretty much like 900,000 cases confirmed worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot more survivors than people dying.
No, 100%.
So obviously, there's ways to get over this.
Yes. The issue is we don't know how our body is going to react to it. And that's the big one, because it's a new virus. And that's what people need to understand. This is a new virus. We don't have any vaccines for it. We don't have anything for it. We don't know how the body's going to respond. All we know is that it attacks the pulmonary system, and that's it.
You know what's important, though, brother?
What?
As a society, I think another thing that needs to come out of this, and I'm speaking in general because this is not how I operate. Our society is way too reactive and proactive. And I'm not here to be a dietitian or a health coach.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't take a virus like this to fucking wash your hands. Like, it shouldn't take a virus, to get people to practice good hygiene.
No,
or eat right.
They were saying, I'm going to jump off what you just said. I forgot the actual number. They're saying that 40 or 50% of the people that died are obese. So they have and like diabetics seem to have a harder problem recovering.
Mario, bro, that's with anything. That's with anything. Like, me and you are very healthy. Mm-hmm. We work out. We might indulge, some tacos here and there, some chicken and waffles. That's human.
Yeah.
But for the most part, our health matters to us, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We catch a cold, we can probably bounce back in an hour and a half. You good?
Yeah, it cut off for some reason.
Yeah, we catch a cold, we probably bounce back in an hour and a half. We catch pneumonia, we might have to go to the hospital, but we can bounce back. Because our immune systems, the way we've just been taking care of ourselves over the years, our body is able to like resist. With bladder wax, sea moss, things that we put into ourselves.
Yeah.
If you're not taking care of yourself, when you get sick, it's gonna be way harder to recover. Way harder to recover, bro.
All right, give me 1 second. For some reason, you disappeared. I'm so sorry. Oh, there we go. Hello? You still there? Azixz?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't. Someone FaceTimed me and then it threw off the whole thing. No, I agree with you. But here's the issue. Yeah, we're a lot healthier. We eat a lot healthier than most people. The main issue is that because this attacks the lungs, because it attacks a specific thing that we all need, it doesn't really matter how healthy per se you are, because if you have asthma, if you have any type of um, existing
Respiratory.
condition, any respiratory thing, you have a high chance of dying. And
Right.
that's the issue. And that's the biggest issue. We don't know who has it. We don't know. It's the perfect virus. It's funny because I remember talking to a friend. I don't know if you've ever played a game called Plague Inc.
No, I haven't.
So it's this really cool app on my phone that I have, and pretty much what you do is you either create, there's different things you can strain, a bacteria strain, a virus, or any of that, and you start in one country, and the goal is to spread across the whole world and then kill everyone. That's the name of the game.
Is app still alive, or this is they kind of shut it down?
I think I can still play it if I really wanted to.
What's the name of it? I'm gonna download it right now.
I don't know if it's free anymore. It's called Plague Inc.
Plague Inc.
Yeah, Plague Inc. And as you get harder within the game, no, it's still up. I can play right now.
Oh, they have it for $9.99, and then they have something called Infection Bio War.
No, it's Plague Inc. That's the one I have. It was cheaper back in the day.
They have a Bio Inc.
I don't know what that one is, but nevertheless,
Yeah, it's kind of sick. I'm not playing this.
when you play in the harder difficult levels, if your virus kills people too fast, the World Health Organization and the CDC catch on to you, and they start developing a cure for you. But so your goal is to make sure your virus doesn't mutate fast enough to kill people, and that's why I keep telling people, it's like, this is the perfect virus because it spreads really easily. It has a lot of asymptomatic people,
right?
But if you do get it, you can die.
Yeah.
It has a long incubation period. There's just so many things about it. It's almost, as even though people are dying, it's a beautiful thing because of how perfect this virus just happens to be.
So let me ask you this then. With all the public figures that have, came out and said they tested positive.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like they recovered so fast?
Because to my understanding, I forgot. I really wish I could find these like actual statistics without me just like, hey, this, not that if you do get it, chances are you're just gonna ride it like any other flu. You're gonna feel like my friend had it. He told me his process. One of the first symptoms that they all get is that they lose taste. That's like the first symptom they get. They lose taste of food. They can't smell correctly. Then it starts with the fevers, and then it's like the third or fourth day, or even like the fifth and sixth day. That's when it gets really bad. That's when they get like the hard breathing and it hurts and etc. And if you have a lot of underlying problems, that's where you start going to the hospital.
Okay.
Most people recover within like 13, 14 days, like that. That's when they start. That's when they pass that section. It's like, all right, I'm beating this, getting over it. But there's a lot of people that are not affected. There is a lot of people who are saying that anyone with O type blood or O positive have less like chances of showing symptoms or just not getting it in general.
Mm-hmm.
So there's too many factors. It's such a new virus that we don't know exactly what it's going to be about, and that's the tricky thing. So we just got to take it day by day.
Yeah, that and I think that's what makes it tricky, man, because you really just you legit don't know at all, bro.
This is not going to end until we have enough testing, sufficient testing, until we develop a vaccine for this. Things are not going to get back to normal.
And
that's the issue. I don't know how my mom ended up getting tested yesterday, and then she came back negative.
Okay.
So apparently there, at least here in the local Bay Area, there is a couple organizations that are going around and testing people. So that's the start. We just need massive amounts of that. Because if we can like lock down a city, or if we can lock down a certain state and be like, hey, these people are pretty clean. They are not infected. No one here is bad. Then we can start letting people out. Then we can start letting the community go back to normal. But
I
even
mean,
then,
I'll much
it's gonna
rather
take
that
a
be a
while.
slow process. I'm not in no rush to like, because like you said, since there's so many cases that are asymptomatic, who knows?
Yeah, and that's the tricky part, because it baffles me the amount of adults, specifically adults. If a kid says it, it's fine. I don't feel sick. I don't have it,
Right.
and it just there was that one funny moment on Twitter where this older lady, I think she was in her 30s, she's like, I'm not scared of going out. Look, I'm here at KFC. Um, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of a virus. Like, and then people are like, well, what if you have it? And she's like, I can't have it. I don't have any symptoms. And then everyone just destroyed her on Twitter, because she's like, clearly you haven't heard of asymptomatic. And it's funny because she was running for the school education board, or the director board of education. And someone said, it's like, you literally just lost all hopes or chances of you winning that position if you do
Honestly.
not know what asymptomatic means.
So you probably didn't want to win in the first place.
So, yeah, man, I mean, it's a huge thing. I don't want to stick on it for too long, but
Definitely.
we just got to take it day by day. And that's it. That's all we can really do.
Definitely, man. But yeah, it's on a positive note. There's been things that I've planned over the last couple of months. Just pretty much just, putting bullets in the chamber.
How do you think we're going to get back to normal, though? Or do you think there's a normal?
Yeah. We're going to get back to how things were in about, okay, I'm not going to get back months or dates, but whenever they clear everything, about 3 to 5 months after that, things will go back to normal.
All right.
Because America, bro, we're so like out of sight, out of mind in the moment. And I feel like things that are traumatic, we become so immune to traumatic situations that once the shock value of it all dies down, we're back to regular scheduled programming, bro. I mean, we can, it's kind of sad to say, but we can see that with school shootings. It's the same cycle. Damn, 50 kids got killed. Damn, 17 kindergartens got killed. Oh, man, that's crazy. Right back to normal life. So I think we've become, as Americans, so desensitized to bad things happening that, okay, the first couple of weeks, month or two, people are going to be so used to, social distancing that when you're in the grocery store, you don't want to be too close to anybody, or, you're picking up, so you don't want to be too close, or, people might just, wear long sleeves and, hats just to be protected. But nobody's going to happy hour with a mask, bro. Them days are going to, like, that's not happening, bro, at all. And I guess you could say that's the beauty of the culture of America, is that we kind of adapt to things so quickly that, okay, this how it is for now. Okay, we're just going to write this out. But once people say it's over, and the shot, like, sound like when the first week it happened, you had people buying 3 carts of milk and like 1,000 rolls of toilet tissue. You don't see that anymore.
It's hard to find toilet paper. It's
It
still
is.
hard.
It is. But like the initial shock value of this whole, so okay, just do what you need to do, go back home. It's not like we're not gonna have the National Guard patrolling the streets 24/7. Like, no, it's not it.
Yeah, there were so many rumors that were being spread.
Yeah, man. I think we're gonna get back to normal, bro. But like, whatever they declare things are, 100, at least I don't say 100%, because whenever a virus is here,
There's always viruses. We deal with viruses all the time. But again, the difference between this one is that we have no vaccine for it. We had no idea what it was. We had no preparation for it.
Right. So I think whenever they declare things are, okay, it's kind of safe to go back to your normal program, it'd be like 2 to 4 months before people are on edge,
Crazy thing is the live concerts, the huge gatherings. I had tickets to Coachella. That got canceled. People
Yeah,
thought that
well,
was not going to happen.
well,
Disneyland is closed. Disneyland.
yeah, LA, yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like LA sports is canceled until fall 2021.
Oh,
Which,
it's official?
yeah, the mayor, yeah, that's official.
Oh,
Like for Los Angeles,
I thought they were just saying that. I didn't know it was.
no, for Los Angeles sports, I think fall 2021.
God damn.
So now you think of the Rams, the Kings, the Lakers, the Clippers,
Clippers.
USC football, UCLA football, Stanford, the Warriors. I mean, like, god damn, the
So it's
Warriors
all
just
of
built that.
California or just LA?
I think. Well, I know LA for sure,
Okay.
but the way and I kind of applaud our governor.
He's a beast, bro. I really see him running for president. If I really hope Trump doesn't win, but if he
Oh,
does,
yeah, bro. Don't even psych yourself out. He got it in the bag again.
yeah,
There's no way Joe Biden is beating this man.
I don't know. Yeah, it's such a toss up. But
It's not, bro.
if Trump wins again, I guarantee you Gavin Newsom's going to run for president.
After Trump's term.
Yeah, so because in a political spectrum, if
Yeah,
your
you can't do.
party no, if your party is winning, you don't want to run against the same party, because it could split the votes, or it would take attention away from the Democratic Party. You want them to stay in there. So you only run after that party second term, or if an opposing party is in office. Those are the only two times you'll ever see. Let's say if a Republican's in office, you won't ever see another Republican run against that person. It just doesn't make sense as a party as a whole, and it would make
Yeah,
you
that's
look
pretty much why, like, this go around, Trump was their guy.
exactly, because they rather just stay in power. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the Congress. They rather keep control of that than lose that with a Democratic nominee coming in and winning. So that's the reason why Gavin Newsom isn't going to run if Joe Biden wins.
Got you.
Yeah. So that's a lot of people don't know that. They're like, well, and personally, I think Gavin Newsom just wasn't really ready to be president yet. But after this, I think a lot of people are seeing that he has a lot of potential, that he has a lot of expertise in what he's doing. And he seems to be a great leader. Where'd you go?
Very much so.
Oh, there
Very
you are.
no. My professor just texted me. She's trying to get my advising for next semester. So
Oh, good.
we've been back. Yeah, man, we've been back and forth with that all day.
I thank God I'm done with school, man. I don't have the discipline to do online classes. I just don't.
Bro, when I tell you, it is like I've done it online. I had one online course my fall semester, but
Yeah.
it was meant to be an online course. So it ran very smoothly. He uploaded the assignments at the beginning of the semester. He gave us the due dates. All right. It wasn't a set meeting time, none of that. Just keep up. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm on my computer every day. That was that situation. But to have to take 5 classes online, bro, where you have out of those 5, 2 teachers that get it, and the other 3 do things like they give a title for assignment, no instructions, no due date, but this mandatory submission. It's just like, what is going on here? Trust me, bro, it's by far the worst thing I've ever had to experience as a student ever.
Do you think
Not taking finals.
if they had more time, would it have been a better system?
See, but my thing is that shouldn't be an issue in 2020.
So you're saying the people who are in charge are too old? They don't understand technology, so they're.
My professors, for sure. But even in that, I'm not saying you're too old to teach, but there's been so many things that has happened between hell. There's been so many things that's happened in our lifetime. There shouldn't have been a last minute scramble. What are we gonna do for the rest of the semester?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, let's take okay. I go to school in the South, bro, where the weather is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at the top of Louisiana, so we don't get like hurricanes, but they get bad tornadoes. Now, let's say hypothetically speaking, I mean, tornadoes come through all the time. It's going to get shut down. There was no backup plan for that.
Got it.
In a lot of schools, not just my school, because I don't want to make it sound I'm just bashing my school, but a lot of, like, hell, even elementary schools out here in Los Angeles or California, for example, the quote unquote big one is supposed to happen anytime soon. You know, there's no plan in place. So you basically telling me that there was no plan in place, that if it wasn't Corona, if it was a earthquake, y'all wouldn't know what to do with these kids?
There's going to be a lot of changes after this, man.
It needs to be, bro.
There's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be working from home from now on. People are seeing the benefits of working from home. People are seeing the benefits of not wasting time in meetings. You can literally do honestly, everything through email, through Skype. It's so much easier.
I feel like from this point forward, bro, office buildings are only going to be used to conduct conferences and meetings. You might have to go to the office 2 or 3 times a week, you know, to do some type of paperwork, but work at home, because, you know, you're cutting down on, I mean, the rent's still going to be the same, but you're not running up light bills. The office space doesn't need to be, you know, 30 rooms where we can just get a few conference rooms. I think that might be the norm for now.
So you're saying downsizing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
there are benefits to having, you know, to work within, you know, around your peers and stuff. You know, when I did work in these companies, it was really cool to see different sections of, at least, you know, particularly when I was working with Gap and Banana Republic, it was cool to interact with, let's say, one design team or the marketing team or the business team. So it was pretty cool when we would interact with each other. So I do see positives and negatives on both ends. But I do agree. I think the ability to work from home will be happening more often than not.
No, definitely. And I think that's the only, I hope, you know, that's the only entity that feels that working from home is okay. But I think a lot of people, who's going to suffer the most from this is nightlife. Like,
well, we just talked about that yesterday, right? Or was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, like club owners, social distancing is going to be a quote unquote thing for a cool minute, bro.
Mm-hmm.
A real cool minute. And how do you monitor that when the objective is to bring people together in one space, in one compact space?
Yeah, you're seeing all these virtual concerts, right? You're seeing virtual DJs. You're seeing all these different aspects that we've never really seen. We saw a couple guys doing it early on, but not to the extent of where it's at right now.
But then again, there's some experiences that you just can't replace, though, bro.
No, you
can't. Like it's fun, you know, watching like the Little John versus T-Pain battles for the nostalgia aspect. But that doesn't beat going to a concert.
No, I'd rather see that live.
That doesn't beat going to. Now, that would have been dope. You know, see, like imagine, you know, Little John has his turntable set up and T-Pain has his laptop set up. I would pay money to just watch him play the record.
I think they're gonna do that. They joked about it, but supposedly there's gonna be a T-Pain, Little John and T-Pain and Friends, or it was gonna be Little John and Friends, or one way.
Well, whatever Friends is gonna be there, I'll be there.
Shoot, I would pay. I've had terrible luck trying to see T-Pain live though. For some reason, I have never seen him live.
Yeah, that's my same grab with Nipsey. I've seen him once at Powerhouse, bro.
And that's it.
Every other time, like when I would be in LA, he would be like either in Houston or out of state. And when I'm like in Houston, he would be in LA, bro. I'll always miss the Nipsey shows.
With T-Pain, it was weird. I've had multiple times being able to see him, but something always just comes up and just ruins the opportunity for me to see him, which sucks as I'm a huge fan of his music. Yeah, I think clubs, again, we had this conversation and it's how we started it. If these people do not innovate, if these people do not adapt, they're going to get left behind. And let's be honest, the nightlife was dying already. Let's not pretend like it wasn't dying. Let's not pretend that these clubs were empty in the first place.
Facts, bro. And I mean, that's yeah, by just plain old like crappy management.
Yeah.
Like we really, I honestly got to a point, and this is something my grandmother always taught me: don't go in spaces where you're not welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, period. Like it had nothing to do with I don't like being social. It had nothing to do with Corona. The chances of me going into your establishment and not spending any money is slim to none.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm not drinking that night, I might get to order some fries. I might get to order some chicken wings. Or if I had a really great week and I want to celebrate, I might get some drinks. More of the story is you're getting some money out of me before I leave your establishment.
Yeah.
And as Black and Latino people, we don't really have spaces that we're welcome in the nightlife.
It's crazy because they all play our music, though.
Look,
And I speak on this on a first-hand basis because I deal with these guys all the time.
Crazy. Bro, it really is. It's crazy to me. And this is honestly, Mario, to be completely honest with you, this is probably like my last final straw with going out. So there's this establishment out in LA called Sharky's. I don't know if you've been before.
Yeah, it's super white.
Yeah, but they have when they feel like it, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So they have like different apparel companies. So it's kind of like Old Navy, Banana Republic, Gap,
mm-hmm.
But it's not like how like Old Navy is, I guess, the more reasonable
price. Yeah.
Yeah. They literally Sharky's they have Panama Joe's and Sharky's.
Okay.
Same name, same prices, just different locations, in the different parts of the area.
Yeah.
So Panama Joe's is out in Long Beach. It's a little bit more hip because Cal State Long Beach there. They cater Panama Joe's to college students, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my homeboy went. I believe it was a Monday. Yeah. After we went to a sports bar to watch the NCAA championship, March Madness, and then we had time to kill. We was both off the next day, so I'm like, fuck it, bro. Let's go out. We was walking around Long Beach, and we passed by Panama Joe's, and we kind of seen it had the same layout as Sharky, so we like, all right, let's just see what it's like. Bro, cracking. Mind you, it was a Monday, so it wasn't that packed, but like, this is around the time, actually, it was around the time Nipsey had died. Yeah, it was like around that same time. Music was going up, like they was playing everything. So I mean, women it was a perfect setting for a Monday night. Like we couldn't believe on a Monday night, you feel me, the bar was cracking like this. So we knew like, all right, come with Cinco de Mayo, the next holiday that was up. Yeah. We was like, all right, cool, come Cinco de Mayo. Like we got a spot to go to. Like we good. Bro. And we saw the same security, like, yeah, bro, like you're gonna be a cool little spot, come yada 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 yada. So we came Saturday. We really thought we was in the wrong location, bro. We went back to the same spot, and it was like night and day. So we see the same security guard. He was just like, yeah. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I guess the person that owns the establishment, they legit have a law and a rule. I guess in their bylaws, contract, whatever the case may be. When they see too many Black and brown people in the establishment play music, they won't like, so they can leave. Now, I want you to think about all your bar experiences, bro. Have you noticed that?
Bro.
You can be there, and they play all the hits.
I can talk about this from a personal experience on multiple occasions.
They're playing all the hits, bro. Like,
we're not
stuff that we like.
Then the
moment too many of us get there, the music changes.
I'll do you one better.
Yeah, bro. They do that on purpose.
What if, when you're trying to book an event, the owner is telling you, yeah, but what kind of music is that? Or what kind of crowd is that going to attract? I'll do you a better. We don't do hip hop music. So how do we go around that? We say, oh, it's fine. I play top 40. So it's that rule. This is a little game to whoever's going to listen to this. If you're trying to book an event and that venue does not want you to play hip hop, just tell them you're going to play top 40. Because what's in the top 40 anyways?
Urban music.
Urban music, hip hop. So yeah, that is the way around that little thing. I have strictly people, so many bars say, we don't play hip hop because we don't like the crowd it attracts. What is that code for? We don't like hip hop because it brings Black people. Because it brings brown people.
Like
And
it's this movie.
I've had this said to my face across many bars, across many venues, straight up. I can't make this up. Ask anyone in the music industry; they'll tell you the truth. That's if they're
But
willing to tell the truth.
the cold part about it is though, rap and hip hop keep the world go round.
Yeah, or my favorite, it's like I'm not trying to be racist, but I don't like that music, or I'm not trying to be racist. I don't like the crowd that music brings. Wait, no, that's
So
racist.
you're trying you're being racist.
I've had incidents. One time with Chris, that was the last straw at a specific bar in San Francisco. I personally don't feel like I should say their name, but they got mad
Yeah, we're not giving nobody free publicity.
they got mad because Chris was sagging his pants. Yet at the same time, there was a bunch of other guys walking by that came
I've
in.
seen this
You
video.
saw the video, right? You saw the video.
Yeah.
That was real. I was with
Yeah, so just give us a little backstory on that for those that really don't.
so
Like, you know.
it was a couple of us. We were all going to a bar, a local bar in San Francisco, and I think I don't really sag my pants like that, but my pants might have been sagging. Mike's pants might have been sagging. A couple other people's pants were sagging. The only person they stopped was Chris.
I mean, does that have to do with him being like 6'3", 6'4"? He
Yeah,
just
I was
stands
like,
out.
a 6'4" black guy, right? Like, yeah, that's a problem. So, all right, we finally get in. And I think the next problem was that he had a beanie on. I think that was, or like, there was I think another issue was that like his pants were ripped. There were so many things. Then our friend C4 comes, gets in, everything's fine. And then they get mad because he has a grill on. And I was just like,
But my thing is just like, you can talk to somebody, or most times, like when you're out in the club, nobody's paying attention to your mouth anyway.
Exactly. And I was just like, you're specifically targeting us. I know you are. Because there's other people who were sagging pants, had ripped jeans, had beanies, had other stuff on, and nothing got said to them. But these two black guys that happen to be our friends who are with us, you're targeting us. And there's a really cool comedian. I wish I could find his name. He's the guy that I know him best when J. Cole dropped Forest Hills Drive. He was the guy that he did a skit around that. He's like, oh, Jermaine Cole. And he,
I know, man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
well, he did.
And you know what the irony about this is, bro? And I've always wanted to ask one of the owners.
What?
The funniest dress code thing I've ever seen in my life.
No Jordans,
no Jordans or sports attire.
No, that's so he.
But guess what? You're telling me I can't wear a jersey to a sports bar?
So jersey and sports bar are okay. The reason they don't do it at clubs, and the sports ones I get, that's like the only one I'll let go.
Bro, I've been to a sports bar. They don't allow athletic wear.
Really?
Yes.
That's strange.
Or they are like, we just say no, but I need people to understand. The Sharkies, for example, they will have like certain nights for like the NBA or like Super Bowl Sunday, and they won't allow sports apparel.
That's strange
because it's like what are we talking about here, bro?
Like at a club, I understand because people take sport. In my, I can give a fuck about sports like that.
They take way too seriously.
Yeah, people take way too, and specifically Jordans too. I get it. If someone steps on someone's Jordans, I have seen fights over Jordans, so I get it. Specifically, that one is targeting a racial group. I enjoy or I understand the other one where it's like no white sneakers. That is like that's the big one, right? No white sneakers. That's across any club. Usually that rule is just there because people get pissed off when you step on their white sneakers. That's a given. I don't care what race you are. You're going to get mad.
You know what's crazy? The last the last major event I went to before this whole quarantine, I wore a pair of white Vans.
Yeah.
And when I got home that night, they was like beat, but thank God I got some like dope shoe cleaner, like to kind of revive them in a sense.
Yeah.
I told myself I would never really purposely wear white Vans to
never. I mean, there's no reason for you to wear white shoes to an event, anyways.
But man, bro, a pair of white Vans is so clean. That's like a date night type of shit.
I can't keep white shoes to save my life. Fuck, I was gonna say something around all of this, and it just.
You were talking about how you understand, you kind of get the reason why.
No, the skit. So the skit that comedian made, it's hilarious because him and his homies are going to the club, and then it's a black bouncer, right? And it's funny because it's always a black bouncer that kicks the black people out.
Oh,
It's
and
never,
every time they came back to the door, they had like a new thing they
yeah,
basically
yeah. He's like, oh no, you know,
like he was like, oh yeah, no
no,
fades.
no Jordans, and then he's like, all right, he throws on some dress shoes, like no sports attire, he puts on like something else, no chains, takes off his chain. He's like, no fades. He's like, all right, his barber comes out, starts cutting him. He's like, nope, you're black, you're black. We don't want black people.
Yo, I see that one, bro. I mean, that's just real though.
It's real, and I can't stress this enough. And I don't want this specific podcast to become a racial thing, but it's a reality that exists within the music industry that unless you're black or brown, unless your friends are black and brown, you don't see it. It's kind of like this untalked thing about it's, oh, that doesn't really happen to you guys, does it?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, you're over exaggerating, Azixz. That never happens.
and I think what's unfortunate though, I've been in situations where like my Asian and white counterparts, friends, they kind of had to witness the BS, and it's just like, whoa. Like I think for them, that's the reality check.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we can have these class discussions about race. We can see, the Mike Browns, Trayvon Martins of the world. Thank God I haven't been in a situation like that. But we
have
heard our classmates, talk about the racial barriers.
Don't you remember that? Weren't you there when we got rolled up on with the fucking police at the gas station after Chris's house, or were you not there?
No, I wasn't. But I was trying to figure out what took y'all so long.
Oh, like, that's right.
Yeah,
that was my first. Like, just like right now, what you're saying, it takes a situation for us to understand what it's really like. That was my situation. I didn't get it. I didn't get what it meant.
Yeah, I didn't either, bro. I remember you guys specifically saying, I think you wanted like a Monster or something. Because this one we was working on
they were getting candy or Red Bull or whatever the hell.
Yeah, we were working on the CNG tape.
Yeah, they were shooting a video in Chris's garage or Trey's garage, someone's garage.
Literally, the gas station was like, what, a 2-minute walk?
It's down the block, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there were Mario and Mike and Trey and Chris, and they didn't. Did you guys drive?
No, we walked. There was two other guys with us. It was the filmmaker and Jamal, some one other guy.
But yeah, you guys were gone for pretty much like
an hour.
Yeah, an hour. And I'm like, the hell's taking them so long? But then I remember you went back and told me, like, yeah, bro, like we actually got like pulled over. Like, what the hell?
I wouldn't even put it on the sense of pulling over. It was just that is excessive force, right? It's excessive force when we're walking down, and it's just funny because I was telling Mike, I was like, yo, there's hella cops around us. Like, it was just, I noticed it. There was one cop coming from behind. There was another cop on the left who faked pulled over someone. They pulled someone over to make it look like they were busy so that they were just there. And then another cop circled. So they like covered all the exits of the gas station.
Right.
What the fuck's going on, right? I had no idea. Because, and I've said this to you before, yeah, I'm brown, but I'm not that brown. So I pass.
But you don't fit the mold of someone that's Latino that they would target.
Yeah. So I always get that pass. So
right.
When we're there and they're like, yeah, we're gonna, me, I get really irritated with situations like that. I'm like, why are you stopping us? They're like, you were stopping cars. Like, excuse me? It's like, yeah, you're stopping cars. We need to see your ID. And I was like, I was just so confused. I was so in shock. And what happened was the filmmaker, I forgot his name, we were crossing a street, jaywalking. Everyone does it. He puts his hand out and stops a car that comes, like he's putting out like a stop because we were walking. Sure, maybe he shouldn't have done that. Maybe we all should have ran. But I'm assuming that person thought that we were stopping cars to rob people. So they called the police.
Oh, wow.
That's the real story. So because someone did this to a car to stop because we were crossing, which we all do all the time. I jaywalk all the time, and I'll put my hand on and be like, "Oh, sorry," like he did it. They stopped because the streets in LA are just ridiculously wide, and you guys have highways everywhere for some reason.
For no reason at all, bro.
Yeah. So we ran across, and yeah, and to the point where they're like, yeah, you have to put your hands on the hood of the car. That is ridiculously hot, for no reason. Um, yeah, it's real. It happens, and after that, it opened my eyes to what people really go through.
Now, with you saying that it was okay, just elaborate. Like, what made it? I guess you could say a wake up call for you, or
Because you don't think it's real, or that doesn't happen to me. That doesn't happen to my friends.
okay. So
Um,
more of so like you
that
understand
that
the severity, but
that happens to the bad people, right? That happens to the drug dealers, the gangbangers. That
right,
doesn't happen to my friends who are college educated, who are good peoples of the community, who do charitable events.
right,
That,
right.
that
I
doesn't happen to that. We were visiting from San Francisco.
right, right,
We're tourists, right? Why is this happening to us? Those
right,
are all the things that were going in my head at the time.
right. Okay,
So
I hear you.
people, there's always that sense like, oh, you're one of the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of the good black guys, or you're one of the good brown guys. Like that, that's real because you speak intelligently or you speak well. So
Right. Okay.
there's all of those things are why people think that this doesn't happen.
But then on the flip end, that just shows you the lens that they see us through.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you still one of those.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much money you got. I mean, it's a great, and I feel like everybody should have watched this movie already. Crash.
Crash.
Basically, Crash depicts the racial barriers between the LAPD. Have you never seen it before, bro?
Mm-mm. I'll have to watch it after this.
Bro, it is amazing. Like it's a movie that has multiple storylines that all tie into each other, but the underlying theme is basically the racism between LAPD and its common citizens.
Isn't there like a huge thing in like the 1960s in LAPD, like the racism in LAPD was really bad?
2020. Like people will tell you, don't get caught jaywalking in Inglewood. People will tell you, don't litter in Torrance.
Uh-huh.
Like it's that severe.
Well, I've heard that in LA. It's never happened to me.
No, I'm not. Basically, I use those two incidents. Basically, saying the minimal crime in those two cities, or I don't go say crime, offenses that minimal in those two cities, cops are looking for a reason to hem you up.
So is
Like
that why people say don't jaywalk? And so it's so big. It just no one should do it. Don't jaywalk
not
in
not
SoCal
jaywalking. Period.
because
And
you
like
will get a ticket. They are
not
looking.
even a ticket. Certain cities, you have to be on your P's and Q's. Because cops are just outright racist. Like like people know, bro. Police in Torrance and police in Inglewood, I don't know what cloth they're cut from,
Mm-hmm.
but they just ooze racism. Like you've met Mike before, right? Michael Harris, tall Mike.
Tall, yeah, he's like the nicest
Yeah,
guy in the world.
bro. We are driving to the Delamo Mall, and the music was like it wasn't loud. It wasn't even loud. It was just if you had your windows rolled down, you can hear it.
Yeah.
So we get to the stoplight, and Mike was basically trying to ask me something, but I was on the phone. So politely, when most people on the phone, you in the car, people turn the music down.
Mm-hmm.
Cop pulls us to the side. Mind you, bro, he's in traffic. Broad daylight had to be like 2 p.m. Hey, boy. And I keep talking like, yeah, he for sure can't be talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So then he was just like, I'm talking to you. Mind you, bro, he's like, imagine somebody just pulled up to the side and try to have a full-blown conversation in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I just look over like, yes. I'm like, where y'all going? And that was my exact face. I'm thinking to myself, bro, it's like a Saturday afternoon. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, what do you mean where we going? I'm like, about to go to the mall. Then he goes, what y'all doing after that? I'm like, all right, I'm really not about to play this. Bro, we are in traffic. Bro, like full-fledged in traffic. So then he goes, why your friend don't want to talk to me? He got something he want to hide? Fool, because he's driving. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So the cop slows down, gets behind us, and pulls us over.
Uh-huh.
Bro, we literally like hemmed up for like 15 minutes for no damn reason. All because he felt Mike had something to hide in his car because he didn't want to speak. Like, dude, you literally driving on the side of us trying to hold a full blown conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you the police, so
So
we can't speed off.
here's the tricky part. How can we get let me pick the right word just in case.
Get on the same page. Get
No.
an understanding.
People who haven't experienced this, or people who maybe will never experience this in their life, to get to understand that we're not over exaggerating, that we're not making things up.
I mean, you can't, and you never will. And I just say that simply because of the fact that, I mean, like, we can just revert back to this whole Corona situation. I'm just going to use this example lightly. There's been plenty of people that I know that didn't take it serious, you know,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's just the virus, blah, blah, blah. And then they double back, hey, bro, I just want you to be safe. My uncle just passed away. Or I just want you to be, man, bro, we got to take this seriously because, you know, my cousin just passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot, like I said, bro, earlier, a lot of Americans,
Out of sight, out of mind.
They're very reactive and not proactive.
Yeah.
So we wait until something bad happens, and then we figure out what can we do versus, okay, this can possibly happen. Let's do this to prevent it from happening. Or if it does happen, this is what we need to do to be ready for it.
Yeah.
So I feel like in that particular situation, unless our counterparts are full-fledged, like, willing to say, hey, I'm willing to give up my privilege as a white man or a white woman to be in solidarity with these people of color, take that word back.
There's a lot of people that are, and I think they don't get the light that they deserve. A lot of my friends are.
I feel like in a situation, bro, they'll straddle the fence.
Well, we don't know, right? I mean, and this isn't, and I hope the listeners understand that we're not trying to start a race war. We're not trying to, pit.
Well, I'm saying that with people.
Yeah, you're just talking about people in general.
Not even just like white, black, brown, green, and yellow. There's very few people that are willing to sacrifice their livelihood for the greater good.
Well, and that's human biology, right? We have to be selfish about ourselves, because if not, we won't, or quote unquote, we won't survive. That's our human nature. We have to take care of ourselves before we take care of other people.
But even just in the sense of, like, if somebody was to tell you, I mean, we pretty much see it with like crime movies and shows all the time. The FBI gives people two options: you either do 50 or 100 years, or you come work for us to sell your homies out. Which one is it? Now, most people think to themselves, like, damn, like, okay, I got a family, I got a wife, I got a girl, I got kids, I got a mom, daughter, brother, sister, dad, whatever the case may be. But I also got day one homeboys that are like my brothers. So do I sacrifice my freedom to save theirs? Or do I, sacrifice my family's livelihood to pretty much damage somebody else's family? It's a pretty tough call.
I mean,
tough call to make, man.
It's what happened with 6ix9ine. That's exactly what happened, right? You have a kid. Let's say what he is. He's a kid.
No, I wouldn't use that as an example because they really weren't his friends, from what I understand.
Oh, yes.
It was more.
No, 100%. I think what I just want to say an example is that we will put ourselves before other people.
Mm-hmm.
We are just like that. But at the same time where we will put ourselves before other people, there are a lot of times we'll put other people before ourselves. And we can't focus on the negatives here. We have to focus on the progress that we have made. We have to focus on the people that are making a difference, and we have to show them that there is a brighter light at the end of the tunnel.
Definitely. I agree full-fledged with that. But I feel like I said, it's just tough, bro, because there's so many internal and external battles. Like, I've got to a point where, people like kind of slander me for this. As Black people, the N-word is the least of our problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being called the N-word, it's not going to stop me from progressing in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's, like, don't get me wrong, that type of racism is deeply rooted in America. And I don't want people thinking like, oh, okay, he just think everybody. No, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Systematic racism is now what has held us back
Yeah,
tremendously.
the new Jim Crow. But people
Facts,
don't want to
bro.
read the book.
So I feel like people have been so caught up in like the outer racism, a pickup truck full of white dudes walking down the street throwing something at you, or calling you the N-word or a monkey, whatever the case may be. Okay, yeah, that moment can take place in 30 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't get a business loan because you're black.
Yeah,
You can't get financed for a house because you're black.
That's the bigger picture I've been trying to tell people. That's what I've been trying to. How is it possible that, when they made that Forbes list, or I don't know, it was some magazine, some big magazine, of all the weed or marijuana CEOs, they were like all white.
Bro.
But those are the same people that would bash on it 4 or 5 years ago,
Now
2 years ago.
Let's get a status sheet on how many black and brown young men are in jail strictly for marijuana possession or trafficking.
It's hard. It's and the guys that do want to do it legally, or they might not know the right way. They don't have the right mentors. They don't
have the right way. They don't. It's not meant. It's kind of like getting the paperwork, or to be a grower, like burn on the level of like burner, or like a legit grow house. There's so many loopholes and laws implemented and paperwork that for the common young black and brown kid, they can't get.
It's hard.
It's pretty much okay. We've set up this game for that you can't play.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I mean, I've always knew California would get to a point where weed would be legalized because it's just inevitable, bro.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money. There's
a lot
so
of
much money.
A lot of money. And what's even crazier is you go into some of these legal shops, and people always thought, oh, okay, well, when they legalize weed, it's going to be hella high. Nah, not really. I mean, you're pretty much paying
same prices.
Yeah.
If not cheaper sometimes, right?
Yeah, if not cheaper, for like some better quality, or just it's unfortunate. Like I said, systematic racism has become the big issue.
So what do we do? I think is that, because we can talk about it all day. We can talk about all the negative things, but what I would say, you're a change. You're making a difference. Jerron's making a difference. Nipsey was making a difference.
I think what we can do, like my mentor Cal always tells me, waiting for everybody to get on one page, that's the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sound like I got mine, you better get yours type of person, but I've come to realize, bro, that sadly you can't save everybody. There's just some people, Mario, that's just not gonna get it. Mm-hmm. No matter how hard you try, no matter how easy you try to break it down, you can put the medicine in the candy, they still won't accept it. But I think what needs to be done is, I remember me and my pops had this conversation the other day when I was going to work. It's like, as a people, we tend to focus so much on the negative versus building on the positive.
That's exactly what I was just saying earlier. We focus too much on the negatives.
And the example I used was, let's say, every intersection in America pretty much is the same. Because I think Fulman told me this. They design gas stations just based on street traffic, Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure it's common to see, you're either gonna see a food spot, a grocery store, a gas station, or two of the three on the four corners. Mm-hmm. Now, say you take those four corners, right? You had two kids, one with a lemonade stand, one might be out playing a violin. You had two kids doing something positive to hustle up for street money. And on the other side, you see kids, shoot dice or doing something unproductive. Everybody passing down that street is going to pay attention to the unproductive kids. Mm-hmm. And the kids are doing something productive, they're going to look them straight past and not say anything to them. Mm-hmm. I feel like what needs to be done is we need to redirect that energy.
Hmm.
And I'm not using kids as an example. I'm just like people in general. Stop focusing so much on the negative and like, oh, look at them doing that. Or why are they doing that? And support the energy you give to bash somebody that's doing something something negative. Transfer that energy to get to somebody doing something positive.
Yeah.
And eventually, the people that's non-productive, they're gonna weed themselves out. They do it all the time because they feed off of energy. You know, like trolls feed off of energy. Like when nobody responds to a troll, bro, they have no content
100%.
whatsoever. Like at all. Like we've seen plenty of trolls have their 15 minutes of fame, and once people realize, like, oh, you're goofy, you're a clown. We're not paying you no attention no more. Where are they now? They can still troll all day, every day, but nobody's giving them any traffic. So I think that's step one. Redirecting our energy to focus on things that's positive, productive.
Yeah.
Like,
Gary Vee said
like
it best, I think. He said, there's a lot more positivity. We just shed the light on the negativity. So, like, let's say it's 90% positive and 10% negative.
All the time.
Yeah, and that's
all the
and
time.
I have this strange. I mean, how can I say this best? Racism is real. I'm not going to take it away. I'm not going to take away things that have happened. People aren't as bad as we make them seem. It's just we highlight those specific incidences and make it seem like it's everywhere.
And that's why I alluded, not to cut you off, but that's why I alluded to, like, it's kind of like juvenile, like the FBI, bro, all right, take me for example. If I got bored for like a week or two and just like went to a liquor store and just start stealing candy, the FBI not tripping on that, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you a little petty theft, right? You know, if I get caught with, Arizona in my jacket and a pack of Sour Patch Kids, the least they gonna do is like, all right, man, put the shit back. Don't do it again. Keep pushing. The FBI I'm not on a target list because I'm going to the liquor store stealing candy. Now, if I start money laundering or something on a bigger magnitude, then it's just like, okay, we really need to keep an eye on that. And then that's just how I feel about us as a people. It's just like the things that, like, this, I feel systematic racism as the big problem, but because it's not so directly in our face, nobody really feels the need to like want to address it or attack it. Like, we can even use the bar incident from earlier. How many event spaces do we have that we own?
None.
Like, how many, with you having these meetings, like every
Black
time
owners is what you're asking, or how many?
Black or Latino?
I know one, because there's a difference between a manager and an owner.
And that's what they.
Because a lot of the times they'll have
you brought that up.
A black manager, or they'll have a brown manager because they know the culture, they know everything.
They know the lingo. Yes, sir.
But who actually owns the building? 90% of the time in San Francisco, they're either Asian or white.
And I think that's been one of the.
I don't think I've ever met a black owner. Now that I'm trying to think of all the bars.
I'm trying to find the exact. I'll just throw a phrase out there. I can't think of the exact word for this, but I think that's been what we've been given as a people to kind of basically like, all right, shut the fuck up and be happy. Like, all right, you look at the NBA and NFL. I mean, you watch any NBA game, bro. You playing 5-on-5. You might have 2 or 3 white guys between both teams. A few European players, the rest black. There's no way where you have leagues that are 70 to 80% African American.
No black owners.
And there's no minority owners.
We can go into the rabbit hole of so much with this one, right? Because.
But I think just to tie it back into the club thing, I feel like so many times, like you alluded to earlier, they let us be the face of something. to kind of give you that wiggle room, or to kind of give you that false sense of, okay, we
Yeah.
gave you something, be satisfied. But at the end of the day, you really have no say so.
See, this. I mean, this is what I love with what you're doing, what Jerron's doing, and with Nipsey. And I always, I name you three because you donating 300 books to a local school, you're giving these kids education. You're giving these kids the power, the tools they need to potentially get out of the situations they're in.
Right.
Jerron and what him and I were doing, and what he's doing now with the center and what you're helping him with. You guys are literally giving these kids tools, mentorship, access to perhaps, again, tools that they might have never had to get to where they're at, right? To get where they can be. And I think that is the difference. The difference is the education, the mentorship, the guidance, the access to tools and resources. If everyone had the same playing field, if everyone had the same amount of tools and mentorship and guidance, I think we would see a lot more Black and brown kids being successful, and we're starting to see it.
And that's the thing I want people to understand is, it's like they always throw out, the prison statistics. All right, let's talk about how many Black and brown kids are starting to graduate from college. Let's talk about how.
There was one recently where it said more Latinos graduated this year than any other race, or
right.
something like that.
They won't tell you that.
Uh-huh.
But they're quick to tell you, oh, well, Jose and Trey make up 50% of the prison population.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about the 65% of Black and brown kids that graduated from a 4-year university this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
media, man. That media is always gonna spew negative facts, and then it's up to us to own the media, right? Or not even us, because I don't think I want to say that we're separating one race from another.
Start controlling our own narrative.
Yeah, I think that is the best way to put it, is to say to control your own narrative, because we never had that, right? I always joke around about this Call of Duty quote that said, the victors rewrite history. We have never been the victors of anything.
Like there's it's funny you said that. There's a show on Amazon Prime. Wow, I can't think of the name of it. But basically, the show is about what the world would be like if World War II was reversed, and if
Germany won?
if Japan and Nazi Germany won, which one was the Axis powers? Was it?
Yeah, it's Germany and.
Yeah. So basically, the show is. I'm gonna send you the name of it once we got this call.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it's how the world would have been
mm-hmm.
if Germany and Japan won World War II and not America. And that was a quote they kind of used in there, like the victor gets to rewrite the story, and not to really give away the entire premise of the show. But I haven't been able to finish it to see if it's true or not. But basically, America actually won, but because of the media control, they was able to flip it to where the public thought Germany and Japan were. It's crazy, bro. But
they're doing that in real life. In China, there is a specific, I forgot the exact name of this incident. You know the picture, though. If you saw it, you would know the picture where the tank, or where a tank is coming and there's someone standing in front of it.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's it's in the capital city.
Yeah, that whole thing doesn't exist in the history books in China.
That's crazy.
It recently came up. There's a video. I'll try to link it somehow so people don't think I'm just bullshitting. A lot of kids don't know, and it's bigger than just a tank, coming at a person. You have to think about why that whole thing was happening, and I forgot exactly what it was about. But
I mean, you can even you don't even have to take Chinese history. Let's take American history. When they talk about the time of Confederacy.
Oh, the biggest lie is Thanksgiving, in my opinion.
Yeah, that too. Or, Christopher Columbus. Like, hey, oh man, Christopher Columbus was just born and discovered America. He developed great relationships with the native people. They just built this great nation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he hijacked this shit.
He slaughtered. They genocide a whole
Yeah.
And it's funny because people don't know that. And here's the thing, we don't get taught that until college. We don't get taught any of this. I had my good friend Daniel. He he's like the whitest guy I know, blue eyes, blonde hair, loves, super patriotic, and I love him to death. He's a really good friend of mine. But I remember going to college, we were in college together, and he took a Native American class. I remember
Mm-hmm.
he texted me and he said, "Bro, I don't think I could ever hang an American flag on my house." And I was worried. I called him. I was worried because I'm telling you, man, this is like the most USA, America, and nothing wrong with that. Be proud of where you're from. Be proud of your country. I respect that all the way. But he
Right.
is like the guy, right?
Through and through and
And I
through.
and I told him what's wrong, and he's like, "We really killed Native Americans, huh?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you didn't know that?"
Yeah, I mean, it's
And he did it, but he was so shocked, and that's ultimately where I think his education is going to set everyone free.
like I hate to say, like it's just how can I politely say this? The history of America has pretty much just been. I mean, okay, you just got to think of the history of America, trace all the way back. The foundation of American history and how it all started is just European, in a sense, European tactics. Come through, kill, conquer.
Conquer.
This is ours now, by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just been the narrative of
That's forever. You
forever.
can go any civilization, they
You
all
go
do.
to you can go to any civilization in the world, bro. Europeans came through, conquered, they were victorious, and they was able to rewrite the narrative. Oh, okay, maybe the reason why we did that because initially in their country they were just, they had the corrupt government, or they were raping
Mm-hmm.
women. Well, you ask those people, we was living just fine before y'all came here. Like we were disease free. We had our own system of government. Things were going just fine. And you guys came and just said, "Get out." We like, no, we're not going for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I see a lot of us. I think the roles have been reversed. Where like this generation, we don't tolerate a lot. It's not much you can tell me I can't do.
Because we're educated, though,
Right,
and
very much so.
I'm gonna keep, bringing that up. It's like we finally got the chance to get educated.
Get educated in what sense though?
In
Because
everything.
I don't think it's just
Not
strictly.
not necessarily math and science,
Yeah.
or I'm talking about history, literature. I'm talking
We
about
got more
everything.
access. We have more access to knowledge than previous generations before.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom, your grandma, my mom, my grandma. Like my mom never finished high school, I think, or I can't even say what she finished.
Mm-hmm.
Neither can I say that for my dad, nor can I say that for my grandma, that she ever went to school at all.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, my parents own a business now, so they're fine, and that's a whole other concept. Like, do you need school to be successful? I don't think so,
Not
but
at all.
it's helped, pave my path into the studies that I have gone into, and the people that I've met, and my experiences that I have, and the countries that I've traveled to. It opened my perspective into things that I never thought or knew existed or were possible. And I think if we give
Right.
that opportunity to people, let them read books, let them read the reality, let them see what's real, things can change. Things can become more positive because the truth will set people free at the end of the day.
It always does. It always does. It always does. Bad, man. And I think that's the next step that we need to take all across the board is, okay, now that we have this access to information, now that we have this access, all the opportunities, what can we do with it?
It's starting. It's already starting because we're seeing more of us in pop culture. We're seeing more of us in the news, and more of us in business owners, and more of us in anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, what's the big deal with Black Panther? It's like, no, it's a big deal because you finally see a Black hero, right? You're starting to see,
You talking about the Marvel movie?
yeah,
Okay.
Crazy Rich Asians. all Asian cast, broke
Bro,
all
that's
kinds
honestly
of
one of my
records.
favorite movies ever.
It's an amazing movie. Parasite, same thing, right? When Parasite came out, like I haven't seen it and I want to see it. People were complaining about reading subtitles, and I'm like, have you never watched anime? Have you never read manga? Like you have, like to me it's normal to read subtitles. In fact, I enjoy it, but because the movie is in Korean. So we are starting to see successful people that look like us be in positions of power, and it's inspiring people to get into those positions as well.
Facts.
And it's going
Facts.
to be us, it's going to be you, it's going to be all the people that we inspire and bring up with us. That's going to inspire the generations after that and after that and after that. And we're all going to work together. I truly believe that we will get to a point where we all work together, whether it's Black, brown, Asian. It's just we're going to work as humans. We're going to work as human beings. We're just going to be alive and live and love because that's what we should do.
Definitely. And I think, like I say, it's not, I mean, in a perfect world, we can at least get to 70, 80% of it being that way.
Mm-hmm.
But just in human nature, there's just so many personalities and facets. You know, people grow up different.
Yeah.
People experience different things that they just might not be receptive to change.
100%.
You know, but I feel like the way things are trajecting, the foolishness is gonna start weeding itself out.
Yeah,
like
man.
We don't like it's like playtime eventually is over. Okay, it's like what are you doing? Like seriously, like for real. I think that's gonna be the point we get to where anything that really isn't beneficial to the progress to us as a people, and I'm specifically speaking, you know, Blacks and Latinos, just like, all right, you stay over there, okay? Because what we have going on right here is very productive and it's very progressive.
I think it's also just is it progressive to ourselves as humans, as people.
Right.
Even if you just drop the race for a second, like, are you benefiting
mankind?
Are you benefiting mankind?
Mm-hmm.
Is your product causing more pollution? Right? Like all of these things. There's so many technological advances that people of color, anyone, is making right now. It's in helping the world, and they're making a lot of money doing it at the same time.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it all. Like, people are finding ways to generate revenue about things they are passionate about without having to be, you know, LeBron James or, you know,
exactly,
Beyonce or, you know, a mayor. Like, everybody's finding their niche without going broke.
Mm-hmm. And I think that almost gives us a full circle, right? When we started at the beginning of this whole thing, it's like, what can we do? What are the possibilities? And like, there are endless amount of possibilities, and it's up to you to find that out. Reach out to the people you feel you need to reach out to. Find friends who are into similar things you are, and hold hands and move forward.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. You know, like I said, Jared always told me human beings, we all have three things. You either got time, money, or talent. Some might have all three. Some might have two. Some might just have one, but there's nobody that has zero.
Uh-huh.
And that's something that's one of the things I live by. You're either going to give your time, money, or talent. You got choice. You feel me?
Yeah.
Even unemployed person that's not in school got all the time in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I think once people develop that mindset, then it's just like, okay, now that you figure out which one you have the most of or which one you can give the most generously, then that's when you figure out how can you make your own niche.
Yeah. And that's it, man. That I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say. I think we've talked about it all.
Facts, bro.
Facts. Brother. Well, I appreciate it, man. And please be safe out there.
You too, man. We will be doing this again for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I can finally release this one so Fuma doesn't complain to me, and neither does Mike, because there's no music playing. So this one can officially go up.
You got to send it to Fuma first.
Fuma has to approve.
But yeah, bro, you know, you take care of yourself, man. We'll be continuing this conversation over text. There are some things I want to talk to you about.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about
right,
Kalen's thing and other stuff. Yeah, I mean, and hopefully I can see you guys soon. I was telling Chris that I have a bunch of video of him that I just need to give him. I just have a stockpile of videos.
Facts.
So Mike has all his stuff. He's he took my hard drive and just downloaded all. Like he's like, "Is this all mine?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, all your stuff's in there." So he just took it all. I think it's like a terabyte worth of memory of just Mike's.
Man, but we got so many memories over the years, man. We got more to come, bro.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. Take care, please.
You too, bro. I'm
All
gonna
right.
talk to you. All right.